For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brooke, obviously. And I've been one of Terry's closest friends since freshman year of high school. Before I get into things, I would like to thank Terry's parents and Steve's parents for not only making this awesome wedding come to fruition, but bringing these two amazing people into all of our lives. As for the rest of the family and friends, I'd like to thank you all for coming out and celebrating. In about 30 minutes from now, that's when the true party is going to turn up. I will see you at the bar, or more importantly, I'll see you on the dance floor. Try and keep up with me. So let's start. Can we talk about how fantastic the bride looks tonight? Steve, you look okay yourself. Not doing too bad. No, but in all seriousness, Tara, I couldn't have imagined your big day being anything different than it is right now. Everything has been perfect from start to finish. Not only is everything perfect, but you are perfect. So Terry and I have known each other since we were little girls. But when we really truly became friends, it was in high school, freshman year. We hit the ground running, and we haven't turned back since at all. So we started our friendship by being part of a group that we called the Sexy Six. Our parents are very proud, okay? Safe to say the Sexy Six is no longer a thing. The best part about that group, though, was the forever friendship that me and Terry formed. We became the closest. Through all the ups and downs and all of the groups that we've been friends with, they've all changed. The one thing that's remained constant is our friendship. We can go weeks without talking to each other, even months. Sometimes we don't see each other, and then as soon as we see each other, there we go, we're off, we're ready to go. And I love that about us. I've known you for most of my life now. I've been there through the ups, the downs, the good times, the bad times, the crazy times. I've seen you sad and I've seen you happy, but truly the happiest I've ever seen you is with Steve. So, moving on to our groom, let's talk about him and how handsome he is. To our group of friends, Steve is known as Stove. So if I refer as Stove, we're talking about Steve here. I'll never forget the night Terry met you. I really won't. She ditched our yearly 311 concert. Every single year we went since we were little. She stayed down the shore to work at Keenan's. And although I did miss her that night, I'm very glad she met you. I remember her calling me and saying, I met this really cute guy at work last night, and then she showed me her Facebook, and I was like, oh, Tara, he is cute. So 7 years later, all I have to say is that the two of you owe me a 311 concert, or feel free to name your firstborn after me. Brooke works for male and female, okay? Yeah, there you go, Reese. All jokes aside, I know you guys were a good match as soon as I saw you two together. Then I knew you were definitely meant for Terry when you came to Ocean City, Maryland with our friends. Yeah. And you fit right in. So not only do you get to marry Terry, but you get to marry all of us. I could go on and on for a lot longer about all the crazy times we had in the past. But the main point of tonight isn't just about how you two have gotten to this day, but it's also about looking forward to your future. Having been there from the beginning, I know just how perfect the two of you are for each other, and I am so excited to see what the future holds for you two. You two are definitely the couple that would be holding hands, walking down the North Wildwood Beach, still over the moon in love with each other after being married for 50 years. So let's all raise our glasses to the bride and groom. Congrats, and we love you. Cheers. I love you.
I'm gonna go up. Thank you.
I'm like shaking. I'm like, oh. Thank you. I love you.
There we go.
Welcome to the crew.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
folks, we want to pass the microphone to our best man, Joseph Chris Cullen.
You got this.
gotta go with Jay Wrestling.
Her. Hello, everybody. Shut up. Let me first start off by thanking the Browns and the DeRizios, minus Steve, the dad, for bringing all of this together and everybody else who took part in trying to make this come to fruition. Sounds like there's some people out there that know me already from that astounding boo. But for those of you who don't, my name is Joe. I am Steve's best man and former girlfriend. You know, there comes a time in every man's life where he finds what they call the one. His soulmate, the person he wants to spend the rest of his life with. For Steven, that moment happened about 20 years ago when he met Nate. Steve and I met playing hockey when I believe I was 8 and this old guy was 9. It was by happen chance when Steve's dad decided to make one of the few good choices he's probably ever made and decided to put us on the same line together. Way to go, Steve. We rode that line all the way to the championship in that first year, and even though we haven't won one since, it is still one of the better memories in my life. Steven and I have been line mates ever since, and I wouldn't have it any other way, buddy.
Me neither.
But then there's that other side. You know somebody for 20 years, you know the roses, you learn the thorns, right? So for those of you out there who maybe haven't had the pleasure to know my good buddy Steve here for quite as long as I have, I'm just going to read off a quick list of fun facts that I feel like everybody in here should be aware of. When I met Steve, he had the world's worst bowl cut that you've ever seen in your life. Nick, you're laughing because you know it. Even though it's 2019, if you couldn't tell from the entrance, Steve's favorite band is still Van Halen. You guys aren't going to care about this one, but I had to get it in there. Steven's never beaten me in NHL 96 on the Sega Genesis. Rest in peace, Hartford Whalers. Nordiques. This table over here. Hey, Eddie, what's the first rule of any game you play with Steve?
Don't trust Steve.
Don't trust Steve. The guy is the dirtiest player in the game for a reason. Just next time you do, card, video, anything like that, beware. We warned you. Steve hasn't held a fart in since 2001. I guess maybe along that same line, and Terry, back me up here if you can. I know you can, actually. Steve technically isn't still 100% potty trained. My personal favorite, he has an obsessive compulsion for drawing
Members.
rocket ships on things.
Members.
Remember? And the very last one, Steve has always been deathly afraid to approach women. Now that last one, before everyone gives me the that leads me to the night that these two met. We were down for a guys' weekend down the shore, as Brooke said. We were at Keenan's, although Terry was off work at the time, if I remember, because she was drinking. Steve came up to me and he mentioned a really cute girl at the bar. Really cute bar. Really cute girl at the bar. I said go over and talk to her, but he didn't want to. It was a guy's weekend. He was shy. So after a little bit of planning, we came up with an idea. I would go over and be myself. Loud, drunk, obnoxious, annoying. Everything that you probably don't want. After about 5 minutes of this ridiculousness, to the point where they were about to leave, up strolls over the old mild-mannered, well-behaved, charming Stephen to save the poor damsel in distress from his drunk friend Joe. Who could have known then that we would all be sitting here now? Now, Steve tells the story where he knew right then and there that Terry was the one, but not for me. Jury was still out, folks. And it wasn't until the very next day we all decided to go to the beach and we're hanging out. It was the very first conversation I ever had with Terry. It was a lovely one, a funny one. Probably to this day, still my favorite conversation we may have ever had. And although I can't tell anybody in this room what we talked about without really ruining this whole entire moment, just know that it was in that moment right then and there that I knew that Terry was the perfect sister-in-law for me. I've loved you ever since, and I like to think that the only people happier than me on this day are you two. Now, I know I've had some fun at your expense tonight, Steve, telling everybody they can make poops with their pants on. But, all jest aside, you are by far the best friend a jabroni like me could ever ask for. You've been through a lot over the years, too much to go into, but I know that will continue forever. My forever line mate. Oh, I'm also really looking forward to teaching your children how to be just like me. So now, not to keep you all waiting, I ask everybody to raise their glass. In the words of World Wrestling Federation 5-time champion Bret the Hitman Hart, may your marriage be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Thank you. Gentan.
Love you, brother, man. Love you too, brother.
It's not a good story, now being signed.
I love you.
That was awesome.
You're the best.
Thank you.
No, you killed it.
Good work, brother.
You killed it.
Thank
killed
you,
it.
thank you,
Very
thank you.
good.
Sorry.